get like us four right here, and then like Joey, Lost Chick, another PvE stream,
Dude,
just to make it
holy
like
shit.
all of us.
You know,
I'm going to ZK something.
what?
I'm being toxic. I'm copying ZK.
Tell me, you don't fear Vanguard operations? Do you fear the Crucible?
So guys, we did it. We climbed the mountaintop and we got the mountaintop. And let me tell you, it was quite a struggle to get this thing. Not as easy as it sounds anyway, but we'll get more into that later. Right now, I want to have a look at the weapons perks and what makes this thing so special. So it's a lightweight frame, very similar to all the other legendary breach launchers. But the thing that makes this thing completely different is micro missile. This weapon fires in a straight line and has a massively increased projectile speed. So as you can see there, it's masterwork for velocity. We're using hard launch to give max velocity, and we're using spike grenades. You have an option for sticky nades, but we'll get more into that later as well. But basically, like it says, and as you can see, this thing fires in a straight line, boom. It's very fast. It's like a little mini rocket or mini missile, like the perk would suggest, micro missile, right? So the trick with this weapon, unlike the normal single shot launchers, is you have to learn how to lead your shot and predict enemy movement in order to get a hit. You can't rely on remote detonation. You can't bank this thing's off wall or anything like that. It's not like a standard legendary grenade launcher. It's unique. And that's the thing I do like about this weapon. It's like, it's a grenade launcher for people who really want to master grenade launchers. So even though it's a pinnacle crucible weapon, don't be under the, thinking that, oh, it's an instant win weapon or it's easily best in class. I mean, I think it is best in class for grenade launchers, but it has a big skill curve and a big skill gap and a big learning curve, You have to take the time to get used to this weapon. And I can see the thinking behind that, and props to the guys at Bungie for, giving a weapon as a pinnacle crucible reward that requires a lot of mastery. I think that's something that should be required. You could say the same thing for Luna's Howl and Redrick's Claymore. They require precision hits in order to be effective. Similarly, this weapon requires precision aiming in the sense that you need to precisely predict where your enemy is going to be by the time the projectile is finished traveling, right? So you can't always just aim directly at someone and expect to hit them. They could move by the time you fired. Therefore, you have to take that into account, try and lead your shot a little bit, have a bit of prediction, a bit of timing. There's a lot that goes into being effective with this weapon. And as someone who's kind of, fallen out of love with grenade launchers in year 2, this thing is kind of bringing it back for me a little bit. I kind of want to master this thing and make some crazy plays with it. I am very tempted to really give this a go and put the chaperone down for a while. One other thing I wanted to mention is, as you guys know, when it comes to these weapons, generally speaking, in order to get the video out as quickly as possible, I will go on other people's accounts, like I did for the breakneck, like I did for the loaded question. But in this case, I wanted to get the weapon myself so I could spend a lot of time with it and give you my opinion on it. The reason I wanted to do that was simply because, in year 1 of Destiny 2, a lot of people have come to know me as a grenade launcher guy, right? I think it would be me and Cammy Cakes are the two guys that people look at and, oh yeah, these guys use Fighting Lion, these guys use All Wings Maul or whatever. Personally, I can't speak for Cammy, but personally, I haven't really used grenade launchers since the weapon system changed, mainly because the chaperone returned, and I've just been having a lot of fun using that weapon again after not using it for quite a while, with it not being in Destiny 2 at the beginning. So I kind of moved away from grenade launchers. I don't use them a great deal anymore. And I even had quite a lot of difficulty completing a certain step of the quest, and I'm going to talk about that now. Now, on PC, everybody seems to complain about grenade launchers. They seem to be the bane of the Crucible, from what I hear from, content creators, players. Grenade launchers are too powerful, too easy to use. They do too much damage, so on and so forth. And in response to that, Bungie have nerfed the blast radius on single shot launchers. They've nerfed the blast radius on proximity grenades, which is the perk that makes play of the game, a good weapon. And what's happened is, on console, they have been nerfed into a pretty bad spot where they're pretty unreliable and inconsistent, but they're still pretty effective on PC and widely used even now on PC. Whereas on console, nobody uses grenade launchers. It's fair to say that if you go into the competitive playlist, everybody has a Wardcliff coil on. If you try to use play of the game in there, well, good luck trying to hit hunters, mashing jump, and moving around like little crickets, and it's very difficult to hit them. The frame rate, the hit registration, the lag, all of that, combines and makes grenade launchers very inconsistent. And even in quick play, if you get into a laggy lobby, you're going to hit someone directly with your grenade launcher. They're going to walk through it, take about 70 damage, and they're then going to shotgun you. And this will lead to a lot of frustration when you get to the double kill step on the grenade launcher quest. You have to get double kills in order to complete it. You get more points if you do it in comp, but like I said, you're basically throwing if you're using a grenade launcher in comp on console. And in quick play, the progress is very slow, and you still have the issue of inconsistency where you will hit someone, they won't take damage, and they'll kill you. And it gets frustrating because you want to get these double kills done so you can move on to the next step. And I was doing it on stream, and I was raging, and I was getting very salty because I was just not getting the performance from the weapon that I feel like I should have got. And I think if anybody at Bungie is watching my video, definitely take a look at grenade launchers on console, because I think more or less anybody going for this weapon is gonna have trouble getting those double kills. So it's something that they should really look into. I managed to get it done. It took me a couple of days. I did manage to get it done. A lot of frustration, but we did get it done. And in the end, you know, in my opinion, is it worth it? I'm gonna be honest, and I'm gonna say if you don't like grenade launchers, you're gonna struggle getting the double kill step done. I struggle with it. I have a lot of experience with grenade launchers. So if I struggle with it, you're probably going to struggle with it. 2, when you finally get the Mountaintop, you're going to realize it's not an instant win weapon. It's not easy mode. It's not instant kills, none of that. You got to learn the weapon, and experience with other grenade launchers is going to help. And 3, obviously, you know, getting to 2100 is not easy for everyone. If you don't have a team, it can be a struggle. Personally, getting to 2100 was probably the easiest part of the quest for me. The double kill part was the difficult part. But for me, for someone like me, I've used a lot of grenade launchers. For me, it was worth it because I'm enjoying this weapon and I'm enjoying learning it and getting better with it. In terms of weapons we were pairing with this thing, we actually paired the Breath of the Dragon Iron Banner SMG with it. And it's an interesting conclusion I came to, but I think SMGs are the best pair for this weapon. Because of the nature of it, you can use this thing at any range. Close range, very far, medium. You can cover a number of ranges with your Mountaintop. I think where you're probably lacking, personally anyway, with my playstyle, I was lacking in very close quarters because it is kind of finicky up close. You can get away with using Breath of the Dragon, but it's a one-shot, one-bullet weapon. So if you miss, you're basically screwed, right? Say if you have, you know, a pulse, a scout, or even a hand cannon in close quarters, you're pretty much done. However, there was a slight buff to SMGs in the recent update. They buffed the range on SMGs a little bit. So I was like, you know what, let's see what the SMGs are saying, right? And I whipped out this Breath of the Dragon. It's got high handling. It's a lightweight SMG, slideways and kill clip. You know, it's a pretty solid weapon, and I found it was doing really well. It's very easy to get people super weak with the Mountaintop and then switch to the SMG, clean them up, get kill clip, and go on a little streak. So that's the weapon I enjoyed using with it the most. I also tried a sidearm out and a hand cannon, but I think for me, the SMG was the best weapon to pair. I think a hand cannon will do just fine. Although personally, I know people would assume you'd use Not Forgotten with this thing, but I've said this in other videos. 180 hand cannons are not a good pair with grenade launchers for 2 reasons. 1, they do really low burst damage, 50 to the head, like talking like 20-30 to the body. Sometimes one bullet will not be enough to clean up your enemy. And 2, the other reason is they have very poor handling, which means the swap time is very slow, and you want something with high handling and ideally quick draw to instantly swap and get the cleanup kill. So I wasn't using Not Forgotten. I was actually using the Nation of Beast hand cannon, the Raid hand cannon. It's a lightweight hand cannon and it's got really good handling, very snappy. So I was trying that one out with it. And I think if you're going to use a hand cannon, I would recommend an energy lightweight frame hand cannon, not a precision. The last thing I wanted to talk about on the weapon is the fact that it has the option for sticky grenades. And I'm just going to go ahead and say I think the sticky grenade option is much more of a gimmick / you know, funny option to use. If you actually want to do seriously well with the weapon, you should use spike grenades. It's more consistent and it does more damage. The stickies are more just for fun and doing goofy stuff. That's just my opinion on that. Still, you know, getting used to the weapon. This is just my initial thoughts and impressions for you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed listening to me talk about grenade launchers. But that's going to be it from me, and we'll let the rest of the gameplay play out. Hope you enjoy it. And if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to leave a like. Check out the links in the description. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Check me out on Twitch. Yada, yada, yada. You know the rest. I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching. Oh, shit. Oh, he went past and didn't die.
Always die, like, at the time it
this
spawns,
up and the battle is
I'm
yours.
hanging out near it and fucking me.
Oh my god.